recording now. So this meeting is being recorded and will later be put out there for our parent community to refer back to. So as I said, my name is Erin Fisher and I'm the Technology Integration Facilitator for the East Bridgewater Public Schools. And I'm going to demonstrate a few resources that we have available to you as a community where you can find some helpful information, and then we will have a question and answer time, as well as some of our teachers sharing what remote learning looks like in their classrooms. So I'm going to share my screen, but before I do that, I do want to let you know that there is a chat box. If you hover over the bottom of your screen where the toolbar for Zoom resides, there is a chat box, and Mrs. McPartland is going to oversee that chat box while I share the screen. So if you have a question while I'm presenting any material, feel free, please, to put a question in that chat box, and we will address it as we go. Also, I need to introduce everybody that's on tonight. Thank you to all of the East Bridgewater staff for joining us that's here, and that our principal of the junior senior high school, Mr. Sylvia.
Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us.
We have our high school science teacher, Mr. Silva. We have 7th grade math teacher, Ms. Rizzo. We have our curriculum facilitator for the East Bridgewater Public Schools, Jen McPartland. And we have our reading specialist from Central School this evening on with us, Trisha Eddy. And Mr. John Shea and Dr. Williams are also on the call, and they are in the background as members listening in. Thank you for joining us this evening. We just had a new member join the call. I do need to let you know that this call is being recorded. So if you are not comfortable with that, please feel free to exit the call. The call is being recorded. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to use that chat box at any time. Mrs. McPartland will will let me know that the question has come in, and we will address it as we go. So I'm going to share my screen now. All right, and hopefully you're seeing my screen, and it is on Internet Explorer, and I did that on purpose for a reason, to show you. Our students on their Chromebooks at school use Google Chrome. So if you are using a home device, it would really benefit your students to have the Chrome web browser on the device. This is what the Chrome web browser looks like when no one is logged in. And if you're using a shared family device, logging in and out of your Google Chrome account is very important. I'm going to show you how to do this, and I'm going to show you with a student account. I'm going to actually use my son's account, and he has given me permission to do this. He is in 3rd grade. He does go to Bridgewater Raynham, but they are also a Google school. I just want to show you what it looks like from the student side, which is why I'm using his account. So when I go to log in, you'll notice I'm not logged into the Chrome web browser right now. And I know that because this user right here is grayed out. So to log in, I can click this grayed user, and it's a little bit deceiving because it's actually turn on sync to log in. I typically like to go to my settings here so I can see it on the bigger screen. This is also where I will go to log out. And I'm going to click that turn on sync, and that will prompt me to log in. Now, when I log in, I am logging into the Chrome web browser, as well as my Gmail account and my Google Apps for Education account. Again, your children will use their accounts, which is the @k12.ebps.net. Not Bridgewater Raynham where I live. If you have any difficulties with your password, please reach out to us in the IT office, and I will show you where you can locate that information. So you'll notice when my son logs into his Google account, he immediately is prompted to link data. He does want to click this link data, and I'm going to show you why in a moment. It's asking, do I want to turn on my sync? And yes, I do, because this will sync all of the student bookmarks and extensions that are running on that Chrome account. That includes our web filtering system. So now I know when my son is logged in, the web filters are working, which means if he even tries to go out to YouTube or sites that really should be protected in a school, those are currently being protected. So I can trust that if he is on a school account, that there is a level of protection in play, although I still supervise him because certain things can make it through. But notice all of his bookmarks appear across the top. These bookmarks also hold his login information as well. So it's nice that he doesn't have to remember all of his passwords. These are holding it for him because he's logged into his Chrome account. From here, he can click this 9 grid right here. We actually call it the waffle. And he can get into his Google Classroom. And this is primarily where all of the distance learning resources, assignments, content are being posted for most classrooms. So if he logs into his Google Classroom, or if your child logs into their Google Classroom, they normally would, they may see items on the stream, but they'll also see items organized in their classwork. And this is going to vary depending on grade level, content, and area. So his looks like this, and you can see he has different assignments. They're grayed out because he's passed them in. He has different content posted, and he can go right through here and click into his assignments. He can click view assignment, and his assignment is here where he needs to watch this video. And again, this is a 3rd grader, but high school can be posting the same idea with different content and links. And then he would have his work to do. Now, in the case of our junior, senior high school, they are many times uploading work that they're working on. So they would use this add or create and turn in their work and click turn in. And that is an overview of Google Classroom in our Chrome web browser. Before I open it up and see if there's any questions, I just want to show you where you can find some information for the district. If you go to ebps.net, you will notice right on the front page there is this gray button. And inside this home learning resource page is where we are housing all of our updated information in regards to school closure. We have many resources here, including our frequently asked questions, and that is updated when we get new information. If you click the 3 lines on the left, you will notice these are all the sub-pages within the site. Under frequently asked questions, I'd like to show you where you can find the form if you're having any device-related issues. If you click Parents, in this document, which is regularly updated, you will find information related to our school closure. If you would like this information in a larger window, you can click this pop-out symbol on the right. And as you scroll down, you will find all the newest information highlighted in yellow. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, notice here too, these are the distance learning plans if you want to review those, as well as online meeting guidelines. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, and I do encourage you to go through this, there's a lot of updated information. There is a Google form that you can find here. And if you are having device-related issues, or your child is having device-related issues on a school-issued device, they can fill this out. This is being monitored regularly, and that can be filled out, and it will be taken care of as soon as possible. It's being actively monitored. So that is there, as well as many other useful pieces of information. On this website, your child can also find the digital resources we use at the high school. This has been updated as well. As teachers find more resources that need to be here, we do put them there, and different classrooms use these various resources within their classroom during the school year as well. So that is an overview of the distance learning website with many of the resources that you may find helpful, as well as an overview of Google Chrome and Google Classroom. Are there any questions in regards to any of that material? Okay. I am going to stop sharing my screen, and come back into the meeting. And at this time, I'm going to ask if Mr. Sylvia has any information that he would like to share.
Thank you, Erin. Thanks for that presentation. Appreciate it. I know on behalf of the staff at East Bridgewater Junior Senior High School, I know our staff is as at times frustrated. However, based on the feedback we got this week from teachers, they were more so encouraged at the amount of individuals who started to or began to participate or engage more in the activities that were being presented over the last few weeks. So thank you for all your encouragement. We ask that you continue to encourage your children to participate in the daily routine. I know it's a little tricky, and it's, as Erin mentioned, it is a fluid situation. So we just want to make sure that we are going to revamp it as necessary. We are constantly monitoring it, trying to get feedback. We sent a survey out this morning. We encourage you to have the students fill that out. It was for the students, just to get a little bit more information from them overall. Other than that, I tell you, I am impressed with everyone in the community. And I am incredibly impressed with our staff who have worked diligently, who have created a great template of enrichment activities, as well as projects and discussion boards and video chats. It's pretty impressive. And I know on behalf of Matt and I, we are very proud of our staff, and more so we are proud of our students who are really weathering this situation to the best of all of our ability. So I'm here for questions. I would love to hear from Ms. Rizzo and Mr. Silva as well about some of the great things that they're doing, because I know Mr. Silva has allowed me to be one of his students in his classes, so I get to see all the great things that he's doing on a day-to-day basis. And Ms. Rizzo, not only a former student of mine, but also now as an employee, she does an amazing job in her classroom, and it's a lot of fun to go in there. So looking forward to hearing from them.
And with that, why don't you take it away? Mr. Silva, would you like to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Can I share my screen, Erin, from here?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm just going to show you a couple things that I've been doing. I teach AP Bio, AP Environmental Science, and College Prep Biology. Students have been pretty good about attending class in the morning. It's tough. I'll give the 8 o'clock kids a thumbs up. It's tough when you have to see them twice at 8 o'clock in the morning as opposed to rotating through the day, but they've been troopers. So I'm just going to share my screen with you and show you just Google Classroom real quick. Okay. So if you can see this is with a teacher view Google Classroom. I'll show you AP Environmental Science. So this is just a format, a place where we can go and share documents with kids. I try to encourage a lot of the kids, especially with the AP kids, the format of the test is different this year. It's going to be an at-home 45-minute exam. So the College Board has been posting all kinds of information. So some of the things that we're seeing are, something as simple as this, tips for taking open notes tests, which a lot of kids aren't used to doing. So this actually came from a sophomore student. He found this online and sent this to me. So they're doing a great job of finding resources for themselves and then sharing them out. Another example, what we do, or what I'm trying to do, is try to have like a plan for the week. So for example, this week with my AP Environmental Science kids, this is the document that they have to work on. They're required to answer 2 of these free response questions, the first one here, and then the second. And then in an effort to turn it in, what they would do, let's see if anyone's turned it in yet, it's due tomorrow. So what I can do is I can go into classwork. I can find, so this is how they'll see everything. It'll say week 1 online work. So anything from that week, we turn it to one location. I can click on it, and I'm going to have to move this little box here. And I can see that 16 kids have turned things in. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. I know that the science department and tech ed department are working pretty hard. It's difficult for some teachers. I'll use Mark Ferrioli. When you're a shop teacher, it's tough to teach shop at home, but he's got a great home shop. and he's been videotaping himself do small projects and posting those online for kids. I know Dwayne Chilcott in CAD. He has kids working on free CAD software online. I know Brendan, I'm going to butcher his last name. Magalhaes is doing a great job as well. And right across the board, we've got 3 fairly new teachers that are really crushing it up in the science department. So, we meet once a week with Mr. Sylvia. We have a good 1-hour conversation about, where we are and where we're going. And so hopefully we can weather through this, hopefully. So, but thank you.
One question did come in, and I did respond, but I'm going to let Mr. Sylvia respond too. How do we know what time our students should be logged into class each day?
Students should log in based on the schedule. So if their first block or A block meets at 8 o'clock, they should log in at 8 o'clock. Not necessarily meaning that the teacher might be there. The teacher may have posted that assignment for that day. And then, or with directions of, okay, guys, we're going to meet, if it's Monday, we're going to meet Wednesday at 8:15. So it should give them some sort of direction of the way the week is going to be set up. So, and then for the B block or second block, it would be 9 o'clock. So everything's on the hour. So 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11 o'clock are the 4 blocks during the course of the day. Sometimes if they want to, if they get or don't have a whole lot to do and they want to look ahead, I'm sure they could do that, but it's not necessarily meaning that teacher has posted something yet at that point.
Are they required to log in?
Yes, they should check in during that time frame at some point every day.
Ms. Rizzo, would you like to share about 7th grade?
Sure. So this week we did a bit of catch up with what I have posted for the past couple weeks. So the kids worked on, the things that we had ended at school with. And next week we're kind of be rolling out new lessons. And, I've been making videos today so the kids can take, notes on that. And I'm going to make like a menu option where they have a appetizer for warm up, they have the entree, which independent work, and then they'll have a dessert, which is going to be a project. My class is probably going to be weekly work versus everyday work, so they can kind of judge how they want to get their work done throughout the week. I do have Google Meets at least once a week with the students. We've had really good participation with that. And IXLs, we do a lot of IXLs. It's a really good resource for the kids. And, if they want to continue to work and challenge themselves, there's a lot of standards on there that they can work further with.
I just want to clarify, Mr. Sylvia. So the login, Dr. Williams is also clarifying, because it was my understanding that students, if work was posted, like Ms. Rizzo said, they were working at their own pace, but yeah. That sounds like I am incorrect. They are required to log in at certain times each day.
Well, yeah. Well, no, they still work. They do the work at their own pace. However, they should be checking during the block of when the teacher is going to post something. So since we have 8 classes every other day, we have 4 classes every other day. So those 4 classes, whatever day it is, Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday and Thursday, they should be logging into those classes that time to see what the teachers have posted. Again, a lot of times the teacher will post something on a Monday or a Tuesday, and during those time frames, just to kind of set up the schedule for the week. But they can work at their own pace.
Are there other questions? Are teachers tracking student logins for attendance?
We officially are not doing attendance. However, teachers are tracking students for our purposes. We have asked all our staff to keep track of individuals who are not engaging in activities or logging in, just so we can reach out to them. They're going to start that next week. Give them about a week to just try to get a handle on the schedule. And then next week, we've asked staff to really start tracking some of the students. We have a form. We're going to have guidance counselors make calls. Myself, Mr. Bosch, Ms. Anderson are all going to make calls to homes, just checking in. Just checking in to make sure that everything's okay, that they have the capabilities to access the curriculum the way we're doing it now.
Are there other questions? And as Dr. Williams said, there on the parent FAQ, we did link the distance learning plan for the high school where you can find the schedule. And you can also unmute if you have a question as well. It doesn't have to be typed if you'd rather. How is grading being tracked?
Well, as far as grading right now, again, teachers are doing it individually in their own way at this point. We are working towards, with Dr. Williams, myself, Mrs. Clifford, the lead teachers of each department and grade level. We're going to work together towards more of a succinct setup for grading. However, right now we're looking at credit and no credit. So students have an opportunity, any activities that the teachers assign, we are requesting all students to get those activities done. Teachers will provide feedback once they're presented. If the final product is not up to par based on the teacher's standards, the teacher is going to request them to continue working on or working towards that based on feedback between the student and the teacher, that they'll be able to continue to pass something in order to achieve credit. So that's how we're working at it now.
Are there other questions? Google Classroom is a nice tool. It does show teachers when work is passed in as well, whether it's passed in for just credit or for grades. So it's a nice, easy platform for them to see who's passing in work. School Brains, I'll let Mrs. Sylvia answer this one in regards to classes. We have someone who cannot log into School Brains and can't pick classes for next year.
Okay, if that person sends me an email, I can forward it to the student's guidance counselor and make sure the guidance counselor reaches out to that individual.
Other questions?
We completely understand the difficulties in this new world that we live in, especially in education. And it's a learning process for us as well. So trust us when we say we're going to break a lot of things before we get it right. So we're going to do our best to get it right on a day-to-day basis. And we're constantly reflecting on what we're doing. And that's one of the great things about having weekly conversations, daily conversations with staff is, I really am looking for their feedback as well. And the survey will provide us some information from the students. So we're hoping that we get, over 50% of our student population from 7 to 12 to really fill out those surveys. So we do have a better understanding of how we need to better the program that we've rolled out.
We do have a few new questions. Are they penalized for not logging in?
They will not be penalized. However, their student's name will probably go on a list, and that they'll receive a phone call or an email from one of the administrators or their guidance counselors.
Are students learning new material?
No new material now. It's a very tricky thing because there's some students that don't have full access to the curriculum or the ability to gain full access to the curriculum. So we have encouraged our staff to continue working on some of the skills that they've already worked on during the course of the year prior to our closing on March 13th.
If you have a student who is a great student in the classroom and there is a concern that distance learning may impact the overall grade, how is that being dealt with?
Distance learning is not going to impact negatively in any way, shape, or form. As I said earlier, students are going to have a lot more ability to continue to work towards gaining the standards that the teachers have set in place for the work that they're expecting. So students will be able to continue to do it, retake it, redo it, get better, get better at the enrichment activity or activities that were established and assigned.
Thank you for asking these questions. These are great questions for us to clarify. Are there other questions? This is what we do in class too. We do a long pause so
Long
that
pause.
way all our students feel comfortable. It's okay to come forward. Long pause. Gosh, we miss it, don't we?
Absolutely.
Oh, I said this last night with Mitchell. We miss being there.
And again, I think because we're in such new territory here, I think we just want to let everyone know, students and parents, the community, that we understand the frustration level, as I've said a couple times already. So as far as the grading goes, this really provides an opportunity for us as educators to really look at, okay, our goal is now mastery. We are focused on, we're not trying to teach a set curriculum necessarily, even though we are teaching content. We're now, our staff is looking towards gaining mastery, their students to get mastery of the content that was already presented. So they're really coming up with different activities that can help pursue those kids into those mastery situations. So, this is not going to have any type of negative impact on any student. It's only going to help them.
Other questions before we wrap up? Our teachers tracking, oh, hang on. I saw the chat box move. Oh, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And please see the distance learning website. It's updated regularly as new information comes in, as new resources come in. They are being added. So that's a great spot to check in on every once in a while to see any new information that we need to get out to the larger community, as well as the school Facebook page. I know Superintendent Legault's been tweeting quite a bit too, if you're on Twitter. So there's a few places you can check. EBCAM as well. They've been posting a lot of great information on the EBCAM YouTube channel. So thank you for joining us this evening. Are there any final comments from any of our staff?
Again, thank you for your patience. I think, I say that to all my staff as well. We appreciate, your encouragement and your support in this unusual time. And again, we understand that, there might be multiple students in the home. There might be device issues. There might be obstacles that we haven't even thought of. And we're aware of that. So again, that is why there is no student that's going to be negatively impacted. If you have any concerns, questions, shoot me an email, send Mr. Bosch an email. We're all here for you. We check it all the time. So we're around. We're not ghosting anyone. We definitely have, we're constantly on our emails and our voicemails. All the secretaries in the school have been letting me know if someone's calling myself or Mr. Bosch. So we are here. We're not going. We cannot wait to get back to school. We do miss every single student. We miss the building. We miss the routine. So we're looking forward to getting back.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for being here. And with that, I'm going to end the recording.